All right. Hello, Ryder. We are doing section 1-1. I'm recording for you. Here you go. The geometric system. We're going to start down here where they say axiomatic geometry. That's kind of a fancy word, axiomatic geometry. That is based on the root word axiom. And axioms are like facts. And then also things that are facts are like theorems. Have you heard of a theorem before? Or a postulate? You guys can write this stuff down if you want. Theorems and postulates. Have you heard of theorems before? Have you heard of like the Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem, a theorem is like a set of facts that are like put together to like create an equation of brilliance, kind of. Like, you know, the Pythagorean theorem is kind of like, oh yeah, like that's pretty brilliant that somebody came up with a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and it always works that way if it's a right triangle. Like, how cool is that, right? So it is like facts that are kind of shoved together to form things, okay? Axioms are facts. So what happens is a lot of times you start with like an undefined set of values or like undefined terms or undefined facts, and then you create a definition from that, okay? You take those defined terms and then you start to prove things like axioms, postulates, theorems. There's a nice little flow chart that they have going on here, right? Okay, so like in math, like how was math generated? You had to start from somewhere, right? Like who created all these books that have all these brilliant things in them that like, oh, that's how that works, right? They started with undefined terms. Then they all got on the same page, which is kind of what we're doing in chapter 1, right? They all got on the same page. They defined all that stuff. And then from there, they created some brilliant things like axioms and theorems that make it really, really nice for like people to know, right? Like my husband he used to use geometry more than he does now. He's an electrician now, but he still uses it. But like he used to be a carpenter like until like a year ago. And he would do like roof pitches and stuff all the time when he's roofing houses and stuff, or like dealing with like angles and making sure that things are square. We talked about that for a little bit this morning, but I'm not going to like dwell on that too much. But like when they're framing a house and they're putting up all the stud walls and stuff, like how do they make it so that like it's not like tilted or whatever and like it's not going to fall over? Like they use a lot of like geometry checks to like make sure that like things are structurally sound for a house. So it makes it really nice. So that's kind of like the path of like how geometry was originated, like starting with things that were just like really basic, building facts on top of that, creating theorems, all the things, right? So here we go. Example 1. This is just reasoning right here, all right? We have a big paragraph. Who likes to read paragraphs? Otto does? Okay, you're going to be maybe alone in that. All right, I don't like to read paragraphs. I read them once and then I'm done. But what I do is I write down information like in the margins, and then I don't have to reread paragraphs. So here we go. It says, animals. In the fictional country of Rythoth, blue animals are from the mountains. Blue animals are from the mountains. MTNS. I'm going to abbreviate mountains if you want to write out the whole word mountains. I know that all those animals are from the mountains. Okay? Where are the red from? The valleys. So I'm going to do that. Now I get to skip over that paragraph or that sentence, right? I can just go straight to this and I have it all figured out. Okay, do you see how that works? Okay, this is a good strategy to do if you're like taking the ACT or you're doing a standardized test or something like that, like when you have to do MAPS testing. You want to get done faster? Do this, right? Like put the information in the margins and then you don't have to reread paragraphs, okay? Then it says these animals are categorized into 3 distinct classes: mammals, birds, and reptiles. All right, mammals are covered by hair or fur. I'm going to say mammals. I'm just going to write this off to the side. Equals fur. I don't know. Birds are covered by feathers. And I'm going to abbreviate feathers. And reptiles are covered in scales. There you go. Now I have kind of like a cheat sheet. And guess what? I don't have to go back through the paragraph, and we can cancel out the paragraph and be done. Now, we're going to take that information and we're going to put it into a table that looks like this. This is called a two-way frequency table. Two-way frequency. If you want to write that down, you don't have to. Frequency table, also called, this is one of my very favorite words in the math world. It's kind of fun. It is called a, anybody pronounce that word? You want to take a stab at it? Contingency table, right? A two-way frequency table or a contingency table. Now, you can build frequency tables or contingency tables, however you want. They just so happen to do mammal, bird, and reptile on the top and mountains, valleys on the side, right? You could flip-flop those, but your table would be 3 rows and 2 columns. Does that make sense? You see that in your brain? Like it would be a shorter, it would be a taller, like skinnier table, right? Versus a long, short table. It'd be short and fat instead of tall and skinny. There you go. Yeah. Soda can, there you go. Soda can versus, what'd you say? Hot dog. Yeah, like hot dog, hamburger, whatever. Okay? So that type of thing. They just so happen to build it this way. Totally fine. All right, so we're going to list these. Do you see these names? Like a Rourke's, a Zog, a Pax, a Club, an Awub, and a Prit, right? Okay, so a Rourke's. He is from the mountains. I know that for sure, but is he a mammal, bird, or reptile? Mammal. Okay, so I need to find mammal and mountain, and that is a Rourke's. R-O-R-X. Got it? It's like just reasoning, right? Okay, a Zog. I'm going to skip over to the right. What's that Zog? He's from the valley, but he is a reptile from the valley. So he is a Zog, goes here in the table. Got it? All right, Pax. He is a bird from the mountains. Bird from mountains. He is a Pax. Goes here on the table. Ooh, I cannot write. My handwriting is atrocious. Sorry. What about Club? What is he? He's a mammal. An Awub. Okay, there we go. Now we have all of our thoughts organized into one table. Got it? And from there, we're going to do part B, which is answer these questions. So I'm just going to zoom in on this guy. Okay? Did I go too fast? Are we doing okay? If I go too fast, you're like, whoa, 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 slow down. I totally will. I will go back. All right? I promise I won't call you stupid. I said that in my 6th period class, and who is it? He sits over there by where Michaela sits. Boniface, Justin Boniface started laughing. I'm like, maybe I'll call Justin Boniface stupid, but I won't call anybody else stupid. So, whatever. All right, the blank is a mammal from the mountains. Who's my mammal from the mountains? The Rourke's. Okay. The blank is a reptile from the valley. He's a bird from the valley. Bird, valley, Prit. Awesome. Okay, it's just having you organize your thought, like starting with a paragraph, organizing your thoughts into like a table, and then just making it easier to draw conclusions. Got it? Like, not too bad, right? Okay. All right, next. We've got some more like diagrams going on here. Let's do the check, which is planets. The fictional galaxy of Yogel, whatever, contains at least 20 planets, including Mothra, Sothra, and Kothra. This is all made up, by the way, just so you know. Don't go to your science teacher and be like, we learned about it. No, that's not a thing. Okay, Mothra, Kothra, Sothra. All right, an animal can live on any planet in the Yogel galaxy that contains its biomes. So we've got 3 biomes: desert, tropical forest, tundra, right? Those 3, and then they're color-coded on here and all the things, right? All right, lizards and scorpions live in the desert. I don't want to have to reread this again, so I'm just going to say lizards and scorpions. And I'm going to abbreviate, okay? Live in the desert. And I have all my information at one spot. Okay, frogs and monkeys live in the tropical rainforests. Rainforest. What? I cannot spell today. Frog and monkey. There we go. And in the tundra, we have the other ones, bears and foxes. Is foxes a word? They say it is. Foxes. That sounds weird. Foxes. Okay, bears and foxes. There you go, in the tundra. All right, now we got some questions. Use the axioms given. Axioms are facts, right? Okay, they may not be true, like they're pieces of information, right? May not necessarily be true, so we're going to figure out which ones are true and say yes. Given to determine what conclusions can be made about the planets. All right, A, it says bears and foxes live on Sothra. Okay, I've got bears and foxes here. They live in the tundra. Did the tundra live on Sothra? Yes, so that is true. I'm going to put true next to him and circle him. Okay? All right, B says lizards and scorpions. They are right here. They're in the red, right? They can only live on Mothra. False, because where else can they live? They can live here as well, right? Okay, so that is false. We're going to cross him out. Okay, C, only frogs and monkeys Where are my frogs and monkeys? Only frogs and monkeys can survive on Kothra. Wait a second. It's saying only frogs and monkeys live on Kothra. Only frogs and monkeys. So that means monkeys. It's the way that it's worded, right? Okay. So yes, frogs and monkeys can only live on Kothra, but frogs and monkeys are the only species that can live on Kothra. Do you see how that's worded? Right? It's worded weird. So they're saying only frogs and monkeys can survive on Kothra. False, because what else can live there? Lizards, because there's red, right? So that is false. Do you see the wording on that? Just be careful, okay? D, bears and foxes can survive on Kothra at temperatures as low as negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. What the heck? Where was that at? They never said that, so we call it false. They're trying to insert information that we don't know, so we put false. Okay? All animals live on Kothra. False, because they don't have the tundra, so bears and foxes don't live there. False. And then scorpions and lizards. Scorpions and lizards are the red, right? They live on Mothra. True. So the only ones that are true are A and F, right? A and F. Got it? Now, why do they have you do this? Like, this seems kind of like a puzzle. They are getting you ready, and they're preparing you for doing like 2 steps at once, right? Yeah? Like, you know, like in 5th grade math, you would do like 1 step at a time, right? 1 step, there's the answer. 1 step, there's the answer. Now they're trying to prepare you for like, okay, you got to incorporate this and this at the same time and figure it out in your brain so you can find the answer, right? 2 steps at once, all right? So they're trying to get you ready for that because that's a thing, okay? What you mean?
Where did my toolbox go? Because usually isn't it just like right there?
Oh, go to window and go to tools. There you go.
I was like, I don't know.
It's all under the window tab if you can't find them. Okay, good. Last thing. At the bottom of that same page, we have something called synthetic geometry, and we have analytic geometry. And this kind of seems kind of silly, but whatever. Synthetic geometry is Euclidean geometry. It involves like it says without the use of coordinates. So like, do you know what coordinates are? Like not this stuff, right? Not a coordinate plane. It would just be like shapes and things, right? Okay, so like shapes, maybe 3D shapes, maybe 2D shapes, right? But they're just shapes. Analytical geometry is going to involve coordinate planes. It is Cartesian geometry, so coordinates. Okay? Synthetic geometry involves shapes. Analytic, you're analyzing, you're plotting points, you're doing an analysis of the graph, okay? Analytic is coordinates, synthetic is shapes. Got it? Okay, let's go down here. You can be lazy because I'm going to be lazy. Synthetic and analytic. Now, again, I'm doing the whole, I don't want to have to flip back and forth. Synthetic was shapes, analytic was coordinates. Now I don't have to flip back and forth, and I have it right there on the page, and I can just, right? Okay, this shape at the top, what is he? He is, he's a hexagon. Is he synthetic or analytic? Synthetic, so I'm going to put an S. You can write out the word synthetic if you want to. Do you know what shape that is? It is a parallelogram. How do you know that?
4 sides are equal.
4 sides that are what? But a square is a parallelogram.
4 sides are equal.
Yeah.
The lines are parallel.
Yeah. How do you know that they're parallel?
4 sides.
They don't intersect. They're all
Right.
equal.
Right. They're like they have the same slope, but also what do these little things mean?
I just know that they're parallel.
And you know that it's parallel. This length, right? And this one has 2 tick marks, so those 2 sides are the same length. And we'll study parallelograms like in I think it's chapter 6, right? We study them pretty well in depth. And a parallelogram by definition has opposite sides that are parallel, but also opposite sides that are congruent, which means they're the same length. So there's that. There's a parallelogram. Okay. This guy, what is he?
Oh.
He's analytic. He's got coordinate stuff. What is that shape?
That's also.
That's not a parallelogram. Because the opposite ones are the same. He is a kite. Yeah, he's a kite. He is a quadrilateral, but he's not a parallelogram. Even though, like, this side is the same as that one, it has to be the opposite ones, right? The opposite sides have to be parallel. So he's a kite, which is not a parallelogram. Interesting. Okay. All right. And this guy is synthetic. What is he? What kind of triangle? What kind of triangle?
I'm confused on how you can tell the difference between like
Yes,
synthetic
isosceles.
and analytic.
He's an isosceles triangle. Yes, because these two sides are the same. Awesome. Synthetic, analytic has coordinates.
Okay, I get it.
It's way easier than you think it is. Yep. Okay, good. All right, that's it. Page 7 is where the homework starts. 2 through 22, the evens is the homework assignment, except you have to skip 14. Okay, but we're gonna do. Have you guys ever gotten to a homework assignment and you're like, whoa, that was nothing like the notes? We're gonna do number 2 together to get you like a little bit of a head start. Okay, let's do number 2 because the first example where they had like the little crazy weird animals that are red and blue, right? They don't give you like graphics and pictures and stuff for each one of these homework assignments. Skipping 14. So you have to kind of come up with your own little way of organizing your thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do that on number 2. Okay. All right, Rico's T-shirt company sells customized short sleeve T-shirts, long sleeve T-shirts, sweatshirts. All right, I don't know what we're doing yet, but I'm gonna short sleeve, long sleeve, sweatshirt. Those are my abbreviations for those 3. So I'm gonna put that off to the side and we'll see what we got. Okay. All right, each type of shirt sells in multiples of 5. What does that mean? Multiples of 5. I can only sell them in multiples of 5. So that means I cannot order 6 or 2. I have to order 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, whatever, right? That makes sense? Multiples of 5 only. All right. It costs $25 for 5 short sleeve T-shirts. So short sleeve, 25 for 5, right? Long sleeve, it costs 30 for 5 of them. And sweatshirts, it costs 40 for 5 of them. Now, maybe this is not how your brain wants to work and you want to write them out differently. You go for it. But I don't know. I just decided to write them out like this. Okay? All right. Short sleeve and long sleeve T-shirts can be made in any color except navy or black. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say no navy / black. Can't do navy or black. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm just like paraphrasing all this stuff off to the side. Okay. Last sentence says sweatshirts are only made in navy and black. So I'm going to say navy and black only. And again, you can paraphrase. I do black as BLK, whatever. Okay. Now I have all the information I need. They're going to give me some bullet points right here. There are 4 bullet points. And it says use these axioms. These are my axioms to make 4 conclusions. Okay, that means like 1 for each bullet point, right? All right, and we're gonna, I realize they don't give you very much room to write, so you don't necessarily have to write in complete sentences if you don't want to. I'm gonna put them off over here to the side, my conclusions. So bullet point number 1 says Mercedes bought green shirts for $55.
He bought an order of long sleeve and he bought an order of short sleeve, and 25 plus 30 is 55.
Does that make sense? Yep. So 5 short sleeve and 5 long sleeve. That's a conclusion that we can make about that first bullet point. See how that works? Because that adds up to be 55, right? And we know it has to be 5 of each order because you can only buy a multiple of 5. Okay. All right, next conclusion. Quinn bought 10 navy sweatshirts. What's a conclusion that I can make about that?
$80 on sweatshirts.
Spent $80. You got it. And you can put more detail in there if you want to, but that's fine. However you want to do that. I realize you don't have very much room, so sorry. Okay, now, Rachel paid $30 for several red shirts. She bought 5 long sleeve.
I have a question.
Yes,
Can we write down our answers on a separate piece like notebook?
if you want to, that's fine.
Okay. Would we just put it with
I'll just have you staple it to the page. Yeah, that's fine. if you want to. Okay, last one. Hector bought black and yellow shirts for $65.
Short sleeve and a sweatshirt.
Yeah. So which ones were short sleeve?
The yellow.
Yeah, because we can't order black in the short sleeve, right? Does that make sense? So I'm going to say 5 yellow short sleeve and 5 black sweatshirt. Does that make sense? That's a conclusion that I can draw from that, right? Okay. Good. Does this make sense? Okay, we're using like deductive reasoning to do this and trying to figure stuff out. Okay? All right. I don't know when we get out of here for lunch. Oh, you got like 10 minutes. Okay. You can use your time to work. If you have questions, flag me down and I will come help. Yes, what you got?
On this right here, what did you highlight?
Oh, I just put without the use of coordinates and then coordinate
You-
geometry. Yep, those are the ones that I mainly did.
Which numbers are we skipping?
Skip 14. So 2 through 22, even skip 14. I don't know if you guys figured this out. I put the
Why
homework
did you
assignment up
cross
here.
these out?
So if you're ever gone,
1 and
like
3,
during a
2.
day
Oh,
that
yes,
we,
it's-
oh shoot, I forgot to stop recording. Bye, Ryder. Sorry. Hopefully he stopped listening.